Today, we're talking about something that can truly boost your English skills: reading. Now, we all know that books, articles, and even blogs are great resources, but how exactly does reading help you improve your English? Well, it's not just about learning new words or memorizing grammar rules. Reading allows you to immerse yourself in the language and gives you an opportunity to see how words, phrases, and structures are used in real life. So, let's dive into how reading can take your English to the next level.
Exactly. When you read in English, you're doing more than just absorbing vocabulary. You're seeing language in action, how sentences flow, how conversations sound, and how words are used in context. This helps you to learn new expressions, idioms, and phrasal verbs in a way that sticks. Plus, reading exposes you to various styles of writing, which can help you adapt your language to different situations, whether it's formal or informal. The more you read, the more you'll feel comfortable using English in your everyday life.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, let's talk about something really cool: how reading helps you with vocabulary expansion. When you read, especially fiction, you'll encounter words and phrases that you might not normally come across in everyday conversations. This is one of the best ways to build a stronger vocabulary. And the great thing is, when you see a word used in context, you're more likely to remember it. You're not just memorizing a word, you're learning how to use it naturally in different situations.
Right. Plus, you can learn new collocations, the way certain words tend to go together. For example, you might see phrases like strong coffee or make a decision, which are common ways native speakers use language. By reading a variety of materials, you start to internalize these patterns. You'll also get better at understanding idiomatic expressions, which are often difficult to learn through formal study alone. You'll naturally pick them up just by reading and encountering them over and over again in context.
Exactly. And reading isn't just about increasing your vocabulary, it's also about improving your grammar. When you read, you see correct sentence structures in action. You learn how words connect with each other and how sentences flow. Over time, this helps you internalize grammar rules without even trying. You'll start to feel more comfortable with things like subject verb agreement, sentence complexity, and punctuation just by seeing them used correctly in books, articles, or stories.
And here's a fun fact: reading aloud can help improve your pronunciation too. When you read aloud, you're not just practicing your vocabulary and grammar, you're also working on intonation, stress, and rhythm. By mimicking how native speakers express themselves in books, you start to sound more like them. Plus, when you read out loud, you also improve your ability to think in English, which is a huge step toward fluency. So, try reading your favorite book or article and say the words out loud. Watch your English improve faster than you think.
Another thing that reading does is expose you to different writing styles. Whether it's a thriller, a romance novel, or a news article, each type of writing has its own unique style and tone. By reading different genres, you get to understand how language can be adapted to fit various purposes. For instance, a newspaper article will be more formal, while a novel might have more colloquial language. This allows you to adjust your language depending on the situation, which is a huge advantage in both writing and speaking.
Exactly, Jessica. And let's not forget how reading can help you improve your comprehension skills. The more you read, the better you get at understanding what you're reading, even when it's complex. Over time, your brain becomes faster at processing information in English, which leads to better understanding of conversations, lectures, and even movies in English. Plus, if you come across a difficult word or phrase, you can often infer its meaning from the context, which is an essential skill for fluent English speakers.
You know, one of the best things about reading is that it allows you to learn at your own pace. Unlike a classroom setting where you might feel rushed or pressured, reading gives you the freedom to pause and reflect. You can reread passages, look up words, or even take notes. This means you can really focus on understanding the material at your own speed, making sure you grasp every detail. Plus, you can always go back and revisit tricky parts whenever you need.
Exactly. And with the internet, there's such a wealth of material available for learning English. Whether it's reading blogs, watching online articles, or exploring social media posts, you can constantly expose yourself to new vocabulary, idioms, and expressions. Online reading also allows you to engage interactively. For example, if you don't understand a word, you can look it up immediately. This makes learning instant and much more dynamic. Plus, you can read things that truly interest you, which keeps motivation high.
Another great aspect of reading is that it helps you develop a deeper understanding of the culture behind the language. When you read books, magazines, or blogs, you're not just learning English, but you're also learning about cultural nuances. You'll start to recognize references, idioms, and cultural context that give you a more well-rounded view of how native speakers use language. This is super helpful when it comes to sounding more natural and fluent because you'll begin to speak like someone who really understands the culture.
Right, Jessica. And speaking of fluency, reading also helps you think in English more easily. The more you expose yourself to English in different forms, the quicker your brain starts switching into English mode. This is a huge step in becoming fluent. When you can think in English without translating, your responses will be much faster and your speech will sound more natural. Reading trains your brain to be constantly engaged with the language, and soon, you won't even realize you're doing it.
So, as we've seen today, reading is one of the most powerful tools for improving your English. It expands your vocabulary, helps with grammar, enhances comprehension, and even boosts your pronunciation. By reading regularly, you'll expose yourself to new ideas, cultures, and ways of thinking, all while improving your language skills. So, if you want to speak English like a pro, pick up a book, dive into an article, or enjoy a blog, and keep reading.
Exactly. The more you read, the more naturally your English will improve. It's about consistency and engagement. So don't wait. Start reading today and see how it transforms your language skills. And remember, you don't have to read perfectly or fast. Just read regularly and enjoy the journey. Thanks for tuning in to Speak English Smartly. Keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.